We are recording and we are back with your regularly scheduled Open Tabs podcast. I am so glad, Joe, that you indulged me this earlier this week. It was classic. I'm hearing a lot of dope feedback from people.
Oh, wonderful.
I guess we should introduce ourselves again. I'm Calvin Smith. This is Joe Carlos. Joe, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing well, brother. How are you? It's wonderful to be here with you. How are you doing?
I'm maintaining, man. I'm living the dream, as my man Lieutenant Dan said when Forrest Gump found him on the random alley. I'm living the dream.
Okay. I this is it's good to hear. 2 times in a week. I always love it when we get to do 2 times in a week. That's how I love that. I think we got 2 times in a week in us.
Yes, we do. I agree.
So having said that, I appreciate obviously I appreciate that always, so but I'm excited, man. I'm sorry.
Man, look, I'm on Jesse Spano. All right, from a level of who was the least excited person in TV history? From Bruh to Jesse Spano. I'm a solid Carlton Banks on speed right now. I'm very excited.
Well, I am as well, and I really enjoyed our show though on obviously on Groundhog Day, and I think that having a groundhogger, which I didn't know that that's what they were called, but having a groundhogger with us, I think definitely helped.
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
definitely helped.
It's so
that perspective was unique and needed.
All those things, and so it's kind of funny, or no, it's kind of interesting that since my brother is a groundhogger, as I said, since he is a groundhogger and a middle child, I think groundhogging, being a groundhogger and a middle child, there's some definite parallels there, but they're definitely keeping score. I'm just going to say that the groundhoggers are going out of their way to keep score, and so I appreciated it. And when he said, "Hey, we only got one shot, and it's better than 95% of the Christmas movies out," and I said, Christmas or Valentine's Day or any of those movies, he's got a great point.
He does.
He really had a great point. So
he does.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I figured Jordan would come with it, and he did. So there is that. That will segue into Joe. Any regrets? We heard from some people. They were like, "Where are the regrets? Any regrets?"
I didn't really. Right. So I guess we have to have them. I only had. I don't really. It's not really a regret as much as it is a reflection.
Okay.
An additional reflection.
Okay.
So Reese Hendricks was good enough to, shout out to Reese, was good enough to remind us of all the things that Play did that were really helpful. And he, first of all, he had the party on like a Wednesday or Thursday night. Like, he didn't have to do that. His parents were out of town, we're down south, way down south.
Way down south.
He had the house keys and the car keys. And so, you know what, when he says that, I'm wondering, like, do they think he's home, or do they think he's like staying with a relative?
They know that. Both.
Okay, so they have, yeah, probably so. But he threw the party. He organized the party, threw the party, cleaned up, himself, did all that stuff, and then went and got Kid out of jail. Went to rally the troops to raise the money to get Kid out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
Then they even went over to Burger King.
Yeah.
So that, hey, after a night like that, Burger King too.
Yeah.
Brother,
that's winning. That's a well thought out emergency plan. I agree. I salute him.
And so I got to give him some love that I was not going to originally give him for that. So it's not so much of a regret, but I definitely a reflection on how down he was. So I do appreciate. Sure. Oh, and another thing, he was dropping knowledge throughout. Mm-hmm. And so, but we said that on the thing. But Play, I got to look back at Play again and see his motivations may have been far more genuine than I originally imagined.
Sure. Beyond the playing that Play was doing, I mean,
right.
sometimes we sometimes we don't give enough credit to our friends who are who prioritize the ladies pretty high. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Sometimes we think that but he actually was down for his homies, like for real. So
no question.
It wasn't just about the ladies, and he definitely, So I agree. I say all that to say I agree. I don't have any regrets. I do want to real quick. I want to, I'm not wearing a Surly shirt tonight. Sorry, Reese. I should have saved this shirt for an upcoming episode, but tonight I felt like, having for Black History Month, I wanted Bruh Man in a wig, the Whitty Hutton World Tour, because Bruh Man can't spell, and I wanted to. I kind of am sad. I don't know. You could tell earlier. My GameStop location is closing, man.
I'm sorry.
My game, and so I went in to talk to my guy. I mean, GameStop. I'm like Norm from Cheers at GameStop. Like, I go into GameStop and I talk to Sam and Chris. And Sam listens. Sam's a faithful listener to the podcast.
Thank you, Sam.
Man.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate
so
it.
I told Sam, I'm going to miss hanging out with them at the GameStop. I appreciate them allowing me to be one of the 5 people allowed in there at any point in time during the pandemic.
Okay, that's special. That's big time.
Yeah, right, man. There. Those are my guys. And when I was in my pop phase, collecting all these numerous and sundry pops behind me, Sam would look out for me and hold some back in the back for me. And, within, I don't know what the statute of limitations on that kind of stuff is, but, shout out to Sam, man. And shout out to my West End GameStop. The rent got too high. The rent's too damn high. And so
I understand.
Even though they made a boatload of money, I guess somebody made a boatload of money this week. It wasn't the West End GameStop. So
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay, man. It's
I truly am sorry about that, for real.
I appreciate that. So, with no further ado, Joe,
yes, sir.
Hell of a choice, man.
Oh, thank you,
brother. Woo! So tonight we are talking about. And this is weird because, like, usually we talk about what year the movie was released. It was originally released in 1984, the December of 84 into 85. That's correct, right?
Yeah, I don't know the exact. I need to find the exact release date, but it was an 84 movie. It's 84.
It was. I'm 90% sure it was December of 84. Okay. Into 85, but that release was, it got its props from some of the critics, but it was generally considered to be a bust.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about these reasons. And Francis Ford Coppola, being the man of principle and a lot of other things, saw fit to make a director's cut version. This director's cut was released in 2019.
Yeah.
And this is the Cotton Club Encore.
Yes.
Joe,
can I get an encore?
Do you want? I want more, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Set this movie. Talk about this movie, man, because I think that for a lot of our listenership, the people I've talked to already, they've not seen it. They've not seen either version. And this is going to be a however long we go tonight, impassioned plea for the people I know that love movies to watch this movie. So go for it.
Absolutely, I appreciate it, Cal. So yes, so Cotton Club The Encore. So the original film came out in 1984. It had so much drama around it, and as Calvin has mentioned, it was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, produced by Robert Evans, written by Mario Puzo, Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about film in the United States of America, you put the 3 of them together, and they gave you The Godfather. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. So we could probably have a full stop right there. Okay.
Right.
All right. So the idea being, all right, 10 years later or so, they get back together. They work. They almost killed each other the first time they did it, which would have lent credence to the notion that perhaps they shouldn't all get together the second time to do it. And it got a little nuts and got a little crazy, and they had to go to court even before they made the film. But the film came out in 1984, and it wasn't received well, as Calvin said. I was looking for the Roger Ebert review
Roger's kind
of the original.
He was kind. Yeah, he answered. So Joe, I was so compelled to actually look at the clip of Siskel and Ebert from that week.
Okay. Oh wow.
And they both gave solid reviews to it. They weren't 4-star reviews, obviously, but they both enjoyed the film.
I saw the 2.5. I saw, well, his site did a review on the Encore.
Okay.
RogerEbert.com did a review on the Encore. They gave it 2.5, which, hey, that's respectable.
Yeah, I disagree.
I do too. But to your point, January 1st, and it's January 1st, 84. Oh
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's January 1st, 84. So and I'm gonna just open it up how he opens his thing up here, okay? His review. After all the rumors, all the negative publicity, all the stories of fights on the set and backstage intrigue and imminent bankruptcy, Francis Ford Coppola's The Cotton Club is quite simply a wonderful movie. It has the confidence and momentum of a movie where every shot was premeditated, and even if we know that wasn't the case, and this was one of the most troubled productions in recent movie history, what difference does it make when the result is so entertaining? Okay, you know what? I love it. I love that. I love how he opens that up. And he goes on to talk about some other things as well.
Yeah.
We don't know if the thumbs up or thumbs down. I can't tell from the nomenclature from the site.
It was a thumbs up.
Okay, great. It was a thumbs up. So they gave the Encore though. They gave it 2.5 stars. And the idea being, so you mentioned, so this film, set in 1929, starting in 1929. And it's set in Harlem at the world famous Cotton Club, which, if you know anything about it, was a place where the greatest musicians in the world, many of the greatest musicians in the world played, and some of the greatest dancers in the world danced. Black musicians and black dancers, and but they were not allowed to patronize the establishment. They were not allowed to buy drinks or buy food or sit in the audience. So to enjoy the entertainment themselves, although it was in Harlem, which was basically just uptown, what wasn't, so that was where many of the hot night spots were at the time. And the actual Cotton Club at this point in the story was owned by two men, Frenchie Lamagna and the great Oni Madden, played by, in order, Fred Gwynn and Bob Hoskins. And I don't know why I put it that way, but I'm going to just say Bob Hoskins and then Fred Gwynn. Okay. So let me say it like that. But this story chronicles it's around the Harlem numbers rackets. And if you think about it, they've made a couple films about this. Actually made a number of films about the Harlem numbers rackets. One of
the actors played the same character twice, essentially.
One of the actors did play the same character twice. And call it out. Lawrence Fishburne played Bumpy. Yeah, he played Bumpy Johnson
Rhodes
twice.
or Bumpy Johnson and Hoodlum and Bumpy Rhodes and
Rhodes in this, right? So he played Bumpy. Also, there was one of the actors who was one of the hoods who worked for Oni, who was also in Hoodlum too. I got to look his name up. Not very credited, but he was just one of the toughs. But he was in both films as well. But I think it's interesting because you look at the amount of money that was being made by Black people in the numbers rackets or the numbers game. They were winning the weekly lotteries, and the rest of the organized crime felt that that was not the way to go, and that they were going to be the ones. They needed to take all that money. So these stories about Dutch Schultz and Lucky Luciano and Meyer Lansky and so many others have been dramatized in the film Mobsters. They've been dramatized in Hoodlum. They've been dramatized on Boardwalk Empire. They've just been dramatized over and over and over again, and definitely in this film. So this film, like we've said, looks at a brief moment in time, 1929 to about 1930, wherein the rise and fall of gangsters in Harlem. And the centerpiece is the Cotton Club, which was the hottest spot in the hottest city in the world.
It was the Tunnel.
Yes. Yes.
It was the Latin Quarter. If you're a Questlove fan, there you go.
The Latin Quarter, which is such a great name for a club, by the way. But so having said all that, the film stars Richard Gere and Diane Keaton and
Lane.
Diane Lane. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't think New York and not say Keaton
and Coppola for all
that's true, and Coppola, right? So, but Richard Gere, Diane Lane, Gregory Hines, Lynette McKee, Bob Hoskins, Fred Gwynn, a very young Nick Cage, a very young Nick Cage
debut.
Yeah, and young.
Oh no! I'm sorry, not debut.
No, not debut. He was
Fast
in a
Time
couple
at
of things.
Ridgemont High. Yeah.
And then there was also Lawrence Fishburne, Giancarlo Esposito was in this film.
Yes.
And then the great, and a couple other prominent names and faces you may recognize, but there were a lot of people acting like they were other real life people. So I think that's one of the things that made it interesting. But even though I know the answer to this, Calvin, when was the first time you saw the Cotton Club?
First time I saw the Cotton Club was Saturday night. This past Saturday night. Now,
that makes it all right.
Ask me the next question. How many times have I seen it since?
How many times have you seen it since then?
3.
Wow.
So a total of 4.
Okay, that's special. And why have you seen it that many times?
It was mesmerizing. It was. I thought it was it wasn't quite a bookend to the Godfather films, but it was adjacent to it.
It's also before it's like a prequel.
Right. Because because it's set in the 20s. The Godfather's in the 40s, right?
And Godfather 2 is in the teens and the aughts. So if you think about it, this is kind of like between the times. Or the rise of Vito.
Right. I thought that
which is being made.
right. I don't know if Vito would have had access to the Cotton Club, as it were, but yeah, man. But I thought that as a period piece, again, I want to say Scorsese, Coppola, like nails it. It's perfect, and in that sense, and I think that it was true to the narrative, and especially given the backstory of all the things that were going on in the background as to like how Richard Gere was chosen and why he chose the role and his stipulations and everything like that. And like they made this story work when by all rights, it probably shouldn't have worked. And the Encore version was, from everything that I've read and understand, was necessary and was a true vision. You can see, like, I mean, there are director's cuts that are released in this, like, like Blade Runner, they're like 18 million director's cuts, right? And only one of them really adds any value. This turns a movie that, I mean, by all rights was considered a great movie into something that I think, again, should be in the canon that everybody should watch. It's befitting the director and his stature. It's right up there, in my opinion, with like Apocalypse Now and the Godfather films. Obviously it's not exceeding Godfather 1 or 2, but I place it solidly between 2 and 3.
Okay, wow.
Quality of it, and in terms of the work and the craftsmanship put into it, the performances of the actors, and it just was. It made me want to watch it again and again to see details and to pick out some of the things that, like, the little nuances and the little things, as it were, for the film.
Well, the first time I saw it was probably in the late 80s on HBO, or when on HBO. But I remember when it was released, Ebony Magazine did a nice big spread on it, and I read everything about it in Ebony Magazine. I think my parents went to see it. I wasn't, of course, I was 10 when the movie was released, or 9 actually when the movie was released. So I wasn't able to go see this film. Now, the original, but I've since watched it and enjoyed it. Then one night I don't know what I was reading. I was looking for the Cotton Club on Amazon Prime. This was during the beginning of quarantine. And I was just looking for the Cotton Club. And then I saw something that said Cotton Club, the Encore. And I was like, oh, the Encore. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? And I looked and I said, oh my gosh, it's on Prime. And it was, I think it was on sale for like $5. So I bought it and watched it. And from the beginning, if one is really familiar with the original film, the opening scene is completely different, which sets up the movie in a wonderful way. And so I knew then that I was watching something new. So if you ask me, when was the first time I saw this film? Obviously, this film was released in 19. in late 19. I saw it in April of 20.
Okay.
On Prime.
Okay.
So on Amazon Prime. Shout out to Amazon Prime. So, but having seen that, I've probably watched the Encore now probably 3 or 4 times since then in totality. Most recently last night, and I was struck, I think, by its overall beauty and the fact that it didn't try to. How can I put this? It didn't try to overly glamorize the life, I think.
Yeah.
So let's think Baz Luhrmann's Gatsby, which I love. But think of how opulent and rich that was.
It was jumping off the screen, like in terms of
I mean, it had so much color, as opposed to the one that Francis Ford Coppola wrote,
right?
For the 1971. Hello, Great Gatsby with Redford and Mia Farrow.
The one we watched in English class.
Yes, that one, which you could because it was so vanilla.
Yeah.
And this one is bright and sparkling and gold and shiny and has black people in it because black people did exist then. And who do you think was playing the jazz and writing the jazz? Right. So I think this film, the Encore, one thing that Francis did when he redid it, putting the musical acts back in, he showcased the black talent, which was missing in the original cut.
Right.
You can blame it on any number of people, and I'm sure he knows who to blame it on, and he's probably right. But it was missing in the original cut, and even down to the opening scene. And the opening scene really sets it up because if you pay attention, the opening scene, a couple tries to go into the Cotton Club. And
the great Woody Strode.
Veteran actor Woody Strode. He says, hey, she looks like she's colored. We don't allow coloreds. He said, oh, I'm a Spanish descent. And he said, well, I'm sorry, but we don't, so it's crazy because he was up to him.
Yeah. A black man.
It was up to this black man at the door.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's empowering or dehumanizing or what, but they trusted him.
Yeah. Yeah. And he did his job.
He did. He definitely did his job, right? So it starts with that, and then we see Dixie Dwyer and Sam Ann Williams meet and talk. Yeah. And we didn't realize they grew up on the same street.
Yeah.
On the same street. Grew up on the same street in Harlem.
They're homies, literally.
Yeah, literally homies. Like the original intention of the word homeboy.
Right.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So I first saw the Encore, like I said, in March or April, in this past spring in 2020, and I realized this was a different movie in many respects than the original film that I'd seen.
Yeah, and I think to that end, that's what a director's cut is supposed to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like again, like these cash grabs, these George Lucas where he'll change, make a Greedo say McClunky, all these little things that they'll do to get somebody to buy a new edition of a Blu-ray or DVD. This was worth the effort, and he put his own money into it. He put his own money into creating his new vision. And so, like, one of the things that I did, and I guess this is kind of can segue into the little things, is I looked into kind of the motives and the reasons why he redid it. Because I watched some YouTube clips at work when I probably should have been signing some notes. Sorry, Dr. Bullock. But I was watching some clips of some people's reviews, and one of the guys was like, why would he remake this? What took him so long, essentially? And I thought about it. I was like, well, because he did this himself. He took his own money, as he was wont to do. Like he would go broke and spend his own money to create his vision of something, and he did it with Apocalypse Now, which didn't work quite as well as this. No. But he did it with this, and I think that I think it was a true motive. And as the person who reviewed it on YouTube said later, it really did it was needed. And it does bring home the point that African Americans are cut out needlessly. There are quotas for African Americans in commercials, quotas for African Americans in this, that, and the other. Like you can't have too much blackness, And I think that we have learned, like from Black Panther and from Creed, like That's not true. Black people can sell and to a wide audience, and this is more testament to that, because it adds to the quality of it. There's no such thing as too much blackness, it was necessary to have that balance. It was, from what I understand, and I tried to find the original version to watch it, and could not find it. Like it's I guess it's streaming on YouTube maybe, but I couldn't find it on Amazon Prime or anything like that. So okay. I wanted to comparatively watch the two, and could not. But I say that to say that from everything that I've seen, it was incredibly unbalanced. The film was like, it was too much of the Dixie Dwyer story, which is not. I mean, it's a good story, but it needed that contrast. And so, for a director, for Francis Ford Coppola to go in and fight for this, I thought was an important thing. For equality, for setting a standard for Hollywood studios, and righting the wrong, letting them know that, look, these stories should have been told the right way and not in a whitewashed, money-driven, which indeed probably cost them money way. It was disingenuous. So I just appreciated the articles online for me really gave me quite a bit of a bit more appreciation for a film I appreciated just from the rip of seeing. So I know that's kind of a tangential little thing, but that's my little thing for this film.
No, I think for the little things for me for this film, they added they put 27 minutes. And cut 13 from the film.
Yeah.
So there are whole scenes. I was watching with my brother, and I was like, this is new. This is where it used to start here. This is new. They added this, they added that. 27 new minutes. And it's interesting, in one of the reviews, or the Ebert review, there's a scene that they did cut out that I wish they'd kept. There's a Gloria Swanson lookalike. Okay. And she's playing Gloria Swanson, and she tells Dixie that he needs to be in the movies. Mm-hmm. And then James Cagney there's a James Cagney lookalike, and he's at the Cotton Club. He's at the Cotton Club. And so it's kind of cool, because then you see like, oh, this is the place. Yeah. There's 21, there's the Historic Club, this is the Cotton Club, right? So
I would have liked that.
Yeah, so this is a spot, but they cut that out for whatever reason. But I think the little things for me, so that's one of the little things that I missed. Okay. By the way, I just want to say those things that I missed, just to show you how popular and important this club. Those were the two biggest stars in the world at the time.
Yeah.
And if you notice, Cagney played gangsters, right? So of course he's in a bar in a place, run by gangsters.
Yeah.
And so
he's studying.
Exactly. So if you think about it, he probably would have hung out with them.
Yeah.
Before he made the film, which is much like Dixie Dwyer if you think about it. So
oh yeah.
So to that end, I think the little things for me are just the little 1929 affectations,
okay,
that there are, and how beautiful Harlem looks. Which isn't a little thing, but it is a little thing in a sense, because I think people would take it for granted. It's a movie; it's supposed to be beautiful. No, but this isn't a burned out, washed up.
Look, man.
Harlem. This is a very pretty, this is a pretty Harlem. Even, even at the beginning of a depression, it's still a pretty Harlem where people are prideful.
Yeah.
And Black people specifically are living, unless you're in the numbers racket or caught up in that, you're living in a world where there's no interference or limitations to your happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But simply because of the color of your skin.
Right.
And so, and I that was a riff on a line from Lovecraft Country, which I think was summarily robbed. Many of the actors were summarily robbed at the Golden Globe nominations.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think that was it's a different kind of type of Harlem that you saw on the film, on the screen. So to that end, those were some of the little things for me. But I really one other thing, I loved that there were tribes among the people in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the dancers had a tribe.
Yeah.
The different performers were a different tribe.
Yeah.
The Jewish mobsters were a tribe. The Italian mobsters were a tribe.
Yeah.
The Irish mobsters were their own tribe. So there were different groups, and then the thing that brought them together was this entertainment, or was this place.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting too.
Absolutely. You know, I think that it did a good job of showing what that world was like, and showing the in spite of the separations that were created during that period of time, they managed to come together mostly peacefully, and really enjoy entertainment, which, you know, I think entertainment gets a short shrift, gets you know, a lot of times people are like, oh, you know, it's just entertainment. Entertainment is one of the basic human needs of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And like we see now during this pandemic, you know, a lack of live music and things like that, it has an effect on people that is profound.
Right.
You know, and even through prohibition, they still manage to have their juke joints and what have you, like, around, because of just how important that need for entertainment is. And you know, we're able to stream and do all these things now, right? But there's no substitute for live entertainment. You can't being there, picking up on the little nuances, you know, the being able to see a performer in their element and interact with the performer in their element.
Right.
You know, it makes a difference. And I think that in watching this, I was kind of wistful for, you know, and I'm not a huge fan of Second Avenue Broadway down here in Nashville, but certainly having access to it and being able to see these honky tonks, even though I don't like the music very much at all, I appreciate the fact that the music is there. And now, especially in the absence of it, I really, you know, I mean, I'll go and see. I'm not going to Kid Rock or whoever this racist guy that just came out. I'm not seeing him, but I'll go see some country acts just because of the nostalgia now. So, you know, I think that they did a good job of showing how entertainment brought these groups together.
It's very intimate.
Yeah,
the entertainment was very intimate. If you think about it, when the first club that they show, you don't even go inside the Cotton Club at first. You go to the Banville Club.
Yeah,
and that was a black club owned by the Queen. And so the Madam Queen, and so you were really up close and personal there.
Yeah.
And though Dixie couldn't play at the Cotton Club because he's white, he could definitely play at the Banville.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it was a smaller place with a little dance floor and all that, but it was a very popular, very, very popular place.
Yeah.
And it's been you know, it's been popularized in a few different. It was in Hoodlum. It's been in other films as well.
Yeah.
As a place that was black owned, black run, and but they still had some of the best talent. So they'd leave the Cotton Club and then they'd come play over there or dance over there or do whatever they want to do over there in the black owned club.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew how close they were. I gotta look that up, but how close they were. Cotton Club moved around a few times, but I'm curious in 1929 where Banville was in comparison to you know, to the Cotton Club. But yeah, and even in the Cotton Club, it's extremely intimate, despite the size of the dance, you know, the stage and dance floor, which took over most of the floor in there. That place was actually kind of big the further you went back, and there was all types of seating all around it as well. So you were, you know, Camp Calloway's doing Heidi, or Minnie the Moocher right there, and you're part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're a part of it. Or Duke Ellington is playing, or obviously Lynette McKee's Stormy Weather is a play on, it's Lena Horne. In everything, in every way, shape, or form, it's Lena Horne. Ooh. So it would be that close.
Yeah.
You know, and personal. And
right there.
Right there. Right there. So a true connection. And we don't really, unless you're at some secret show or something like that, or unless you're in Nashville and you found that person. What's that place called? The Bluebird? Isn't that
the Bluebird Cafe? Yeah.
The Bluebird Cafe up front.
Yeah.
And you found that person.
Yeah.
And they're playing tonight.
Yeah.
And you got to go. You have to go see it.
Yeah.
We don't really have a lot of where you live. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Jazz clubs, obviously in New York and other places, of course.
Yeah.
But by and large, the best entertainers in the world,
right?
We can't New Orleans is another place you can see live music.
Yeah, New Orleans, absolutely. And Memphis too. Memphis.
Yeah. And definitely Memphis. Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, I think Tiny Desk kind of does something for this era.
Yeah.
But it's missing that, I mean, again, a live show, being there.
Yeah, one of my favorite albums when I got into Jimi Hendrix was he had an album. He had a compilation, a 4 compilation set called Stages.
Okay.
It was 67, 68, 69, 70, and these 4 different stages that he played on.
Okay.
And 70 was in Atlanta at the Atlanta Pop Festival.
Okay.
On July 4th, 1970, and they were live shows. So it's not, they're going to be riffs on the studio hits, on the studio cuts. But to your point, seeing that person, seeing the anguish in their face, seeing whatever they're going through that day, and how it's portrayed when they're performing, or when Sandman is dancing and he does what he does when he's dancing, or when Leela. Later Angelina, but Leela is singing and doing her thing, or even when and then you see, like the others I've mentioned as well. I think there's something to be said for the authenticity that comes with live performances and live music.
Absolutely. Yeah. Joe, who are your unsung heroes in this movie?
I thought about this one, man, and I think my unsung hero in this movie is Lawrence Fishburne. Okay.
Yeah, that's solid.
As Bumpy, what did you say? Bumpy
Rhodes, I believe.
Okay. They were so afraid. I guess the estate wouldn't let him do it.
Yeah.
In Shaft, he was just Bumpy, or maybe it was Bumpy Jonas. I think it was Bumpy Jonas.
Yeah.
In Shaft, but I thought he was an unsung hero because, despite it all, somehow he's in the Hoofers Club, by the way. But despite it all, even at their clubhouse, he tells him, he says, "Look, I can't dance. I can't do that. I got my own way of dealing with this guy. You do what you do. You do what you do. Yeah. We'll take care of our part on the other end. You'll do what you do."
Yeah.
But he does that. He does literally go in there and mollywops this guy Mike. So hopefully this guy won't mess with anybody ever again. And then the reconciliation scene.
Yeah.
Between the Williams brothers.
Yeah, between Clay and Sandman.
Between Clay and Sandman was really beautiful. And he said,
"It got kind of dusty.
Why don't you?"
Yeah. Huh? It got kind of dusty in the room, man.
It did get dusty in the room. So in the original film, all we see is we see Clay say, "You're my brother. I'm your brother. How would you do that to me?" Right? Then we don't see Clay again until they make up. We see kind of the rise. You see kind of the rise of Sandman.
But you don't see Clay anymore?
No. So that dinner scene, they added that. They added that scene.
That's so necessary.
I agree.
Wow.
They added the dinner scene, and it's extremely necessary. I mean, they let the black look.
They let the black folks cook, man.
They let the black folks cook. I mean, if you think about it, was it 6 seasons or 5 seasons of Boardwalk? Season 4 was when the brothers cook got off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was the season, and then they were like, "Oh, we can't have that anymore. We got it's too much black in this season. Golly, we got to move on. We got to change this up." Yeah. But I say that to say that dinner scene that's in the Encore, I think is very important because it talks about his points of view and how betrayed he feels, and rightfully so, how betrayed he feels about things, and so he anyway. So he, so they add that scene, and then, but Bumpy then says, "Hey, you and your brother, you dance."
Yeah.
And who is he to say no to Bumpy? Right?
Not big enough to say no to him.
No, I mean, and I think it's interesting too. Right. I think it's interesting too, the role of the artist in these worlds. And if you watch any of these, if you watch anything on Francis Albert or anything on Quincy Delight. Or the Black Godfather by Clarence Avant.
Yeah,
you realize quickly there's talent and there's management.
Yes. Talk about it, Joe.
And the interplay between the two is can be very prickly.
Yeah,
it's key. And knowing how to play between the two.
Yeah. Because like you have that voice that they'll listen to, but they'll also, you got to run the risk they'll be upset with you, and you got to be able to live with it. And you know, I absolutely agree with you, Joe. I think that that dynamic is special, and I thought that showing how gangsters, that role that they played in this whole thing was, I thought that was important. Because again, I mean, this still goes on to this day, like in entertainment industry. This is I mean, this is not something that has changed at all. I mean, obviously people aren't as out and about and open with it, but I mean, all it takes is a headline like what happened with Puffy and Steve Stout. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, again, this stuff happens, man. Like, people get gangster, and yeah, I thought that dynamic was good. You have any other unsungs? I got a slew of them. So
no, go ahead, go please.
So all right, I want to start with my partnership, Oni and Frenchie.
Yeah,
that dynamic. I thought. I mean, I really enjoyed the interplay between Bob Hoskins and Fred Gwynne. I think that it's important to know that Coppola pushed hard for Fred Gwynne, who up to that point was Herman Munster, and and Robert Evans allegedly told him, "There's no way I'm putting a Munster in my movie." Like, and he acquitted himself well and ended up having a great career afterward, in large part because he was allowed to play this role. I enjoyed him in Pet Sematary. Enjoyed him in My Cousin Benny. I think he was the judge.
Yeah, he was the judge.
Yeah. So Fred Gwynne,
and of course, The Secret of My Success.
I mean, yes, of course. Yes. Of course. How could I forget?
I don't know. I have no idea. Please go on.
But and Bob Hoskins, who to this point for me had been the crotchety detective in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I mean, like, this.
And he also played a crotchety detective in Heart Condition. It was pretty much playing,
crotchety detectives. He had that market corner.
But
he was. I mean, as Oni Madden, like in reading up on who Oni Madden was, played the hell out of that role. It was phenomenal. I thought that their interplay between those two characters and their dynamic was really was well played. I also got to give a shout out to Dixie's mom, Tish Dwyer.
I thought she was great too. I was going to have her as number 2, but I said, let me just be quiet just in case you were going to run down now. I feel you on that.
She was, I mean, she reminds me a lot of, and I hope that if she does listen, she doesn't take offense to this, because this is a high compliment for me. My friend Brett Norman, one of my former colleagues at the hospital, he was a pulmonologist, has gone on to become a pulmonologist and critical care doctor in the time of the pandemic, with one of the major doctors we need in Maury County, which is south of here. Okay. My great buddy, I hung out with Brett quite a bit and missed him tremendously. But his mom, Susie, is my Facebook friend, and is a music teacher and teaches, to my knowledge, I think she teaches special needs sometimes, something along those lines. But at any rate, she reminded me so much of Dixie's mom, and her love of art and music and dance. And like, even at the end when she's teaching the girl the dance step, like, just that exuberance, and she was just a pleasant, like, I laughed at the line that Richard Gere said she was one of the wonderful white mothers.
Yeah.
I thought that was, she was a delight, and I really enjoyed her, and she reminded me of Miss Susie. So Miss Susie, I hope that you don't take offense to it, me comparing you to her, but I admire her just like I admire you.
You know what? That scene was added too.
Wow.
That scene was not in the original cut. That scene was added as well. Them on the dance, them out there dancing that scene was added as well.
Joe,
I'm telling you, it was added.
Wow.
That's in the Encore. It was not in the original. That was not in the original.
My last unsung that I want to mention, because I feel like he kind of took the bad end of things at the in sort of the middle or towards the end of the movie. My man Julian Beck as Saul Weinstein. Was it Saul Weinstein?
I don't know, but Saul. Yeah,
Saul. The great Julian Beck. God is in his holy temple. Poltergeist.
Yes, of course.
He was phenomenal. His little line where he's like, did you have a mother? He was like, I didn't have a mother. They found me in a garbage pail. Something along those lines.
Hey man, he was scary in a weird kind of in a weird kind of way. And So much so that, but he was clean too. He was always well dressed.
Yeah, absolutely. He reminded me of a more well-dressed version of, and I'm sure when we get the great Christian Washuku on our show and we start talking about The Sopranos,
yes,
that's
can't
coming.
Wait.
The Atwell boys of Rhode Island, how creepy they were.
Yeah,
the blind guys, you know what I mean?
I know you talking about. Yeah,
Woo, that's what he was menacing like that. You know what I mean? Lou DiMaggio. That's
Lou DiMaggio, right? Because of the bet. Yeah, because of what you could do with the bet, right?
I thought that was a great turn, and knowing what I know about, because Poltergeist was one of those franchises that was cursed, and so I read all about that whole series, and he was close to death probably then in the filming of this, let alone
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was on his way out by the time this film was released.
Really?
And, yeah, Poltergeist 2, it was released after his death, I want to say, or he didn't live long after that. So his gaunt appearance, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. It was great, man. And like, I really enjoyed that turn. Wasn't expecting to see him in the film. So, those are my unsung heroes. And I didn't like the way he went out necessarily.
No, but that really did happen. I mean, well, I think it was kind of like something happened with the Dutchman, and he really did kill kids or something like that. He was just wild. I mean, they were just
Dutchman was out of control, and I'm sure we'll talk about. I think he's not unsung. He needs his own James Remar, man. Your buddy,
yeah, my buddy, yeah, my friend James. Actually, so we can talk about that now. If I'm with you.
Yeah, do it.
So I'm at the Candle in the Dark 2018 at the VIP reception beforehand, and they were honoring Oz Scott, as a film producer and director, and Oz was making Black Lightning, and I think James was in Black Lightning, I believe.
Yeah.
So Oz brought the Black Lightning cast with him, and I was working for the Office of Alumni Engagement at the time, and I was working on the Candle. So
a stellar run.
Thank you, I appreciate it, brother. So that was my first Candle that I worked on. In Henry's office, I worked on 3, and we were there. I was there. I'm in the VIP, and I look up, and I'm thinking, like, is that James Remar? Like, what is James Remar? And then I noticed, I was like, oh, he's with Oz. That makes okay. I get it. So he's talking to the other cast members, and I was like, well, you know what? If I find a second for him to be alone, I'm just gonna come up to him and say, hey, I'm not gonna talk to you about Richard from Sex and the City. That's not gonna be me.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking to you about 48 hours.
Right.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna talk to you about the Cotton Club, because the way I look at it, when I meet a star or someone who I know who's been in a film, I want to speak about the most obscure thing they've ever done to show how much I know about their work. So
you know who that makes you? You are Christopher Moltisanti in the club line, and you see Marty Scorsese and say, "Kundun."
True.
Oh man, but continue, sir.
No, I'm with it. Is that what? Oh, season 1. You taking me back to see that's Bokeem. That's Bokeem. Okay,
it's the worst episode in the whole run.
Easily, they were trying to do so much and failed.
Even Michael Imperioli and Steve Sherpa agree. So I feel vindicated. But
yeah, it's a horrible. Yeah. Gosh, it's a bad episode. Gosh, it's a bad one.
But so you might be like the Cotton Club, man.
Yeah. So I walk up to him and I say, hey, aren't you? I said, Mr. Remar. I said, hey man, just call me James. I said, hey James. All right, hey James. I want to talk to you. I said, man, huge fan. And I said, I know people talk to you about all kind of things, but does anybody ever talk to you about the Cotton Club? He's like, no, they don't. I said, okay, well, I'd love to ask you a question to about Cotton Club if you got a minute. He said, I'm not doing anything. And so we start talking about the Cotton Club and his preparation. He's like, yeah, I had to shave my head. And he said, the clothes were, the original stuff. Francis doesn't play around, it's original stuff. And original design,
right. It's tailored and
tailored the way one would have worn it in 1929 or 1930.
Sure.
And he said he enjoyed it and enjoyed Gear and Diane Lane and the woman that played his wife, I can't remember her name, but she was in She was in When Harry Met Sally and Peggy Sue Got Married and so many other things. And I think Back to the Future, but she was in so many other things, which would make sense that she was in Peggy Sue Got Married, which is another, it's more Coppola, right?
Yeah.
But
he liked his people.
He definitely likes his people. So we're talking about that, and he said it was an enjoyable experience, and he wishes that more people, had to kind of watch it with an open mind, didn't worry about the press around it.
Yeah.
And kind of watched it with an open mind. But he said he was proud of his performance. So
yeah.
So after they hit the gong and we got to go into the candle. He doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know what to do, where he's going. So he's kind of like, well, where do we go? And I said, well, yeah, come on. And so it's like me and my wife, and then like James Remar, and we're walking out. We're walking out, and next thing I know, as we're walking out, he's kind of going. I said, well, he's like, well, where you at, man? And I was like, my table's like, right, it's going to be this part of the room. I said, you're around the dance floor. He's like, okay, man, well, we're over at, and he looks, he said, come by, man, we can keep talking. And I said, okay, absolutely. And I didn't. Of course, I let them have their night, and I'm with my wife.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Let them have their night. But, it was very, very, he was very cool.
Yeah.
And he had good memories of the, of the production. And we didn't know how crazy he was. Like, we didn't know why anybody was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
With dynamite.
Yeah.
With dynamite in a club.
In a club, a stick of dynamite in the club. That's something I'm doing in Red Dead Redemption. I'm just throwing a stick of dynamite at people, man.
Hey, stick of dynamite. So, but we see the crazy later, and I don't want to give it away for any. I don't want to give it away any plot things, but he's a cold-blooded killer.
Sure.
Dutch has been glamorized and portrayed in countless things. So it's not like
he got the Tim Roth treatment,
Yeah, he did. I thought Tim Roth did a really good job too. I thought he did.
Yeah.
Probably
Tim Roth's crazy as hell too. So
yes, he is, and probably closer to form.
Fair enough.
Because he was so rumpled.
Yeah.
And
rumpled. That's a good word.
Yeah, rumpled and wrinkled, and had like mustard on his suit, and just wasn't. He wasn't like like Luciano and the other gangsters of the time that were more polished.
Sure.
He didn't have an Honor Rothstein teaching him how to act or anything like that. So, but no, I thought his role was a terrorizing one.
Yeah.
And I thought Remar played it very well. He plays vicious. He does vicious pretty well.
He does.
So
yes.
Even the snarl, I don't know what he had, like prosthetics or anything like in his mouth or whatever, but he definitely had some gangsterisms of the period down pat.
Yeah,
without question.
Absolutely. Any character that you feel you relate to, or
no, not really in this film. I know our normal questions, and I was thinking about it, but I don't think I relate to any of these characters. No.
Fair enough. I'm with you. I don't have any. I reconciled.
I like reconciled.
as a flighty, crazy Gemini, I very frequently will have to make amends, as it were. And so I enjoyed seeing a very realistic, as we kind of have alluded to earlier, very realistic portrayal of brothers coming back together. I thought that was touching, and I can relate to that in particular. But I wasn't any of these characters. I can't even stretch and conceive to be any of these characters, really. Maybe
no, you don't. I don't think you have to be. I can relate to being in a rock and a hard place, which Dixie Dwyer's character was.
Ooh, was he?
Wherein he was kind of forced into a patronage.
Yeah.
With this notorious, gangster.
Yeah.
And so I want to ask you a question, since you watched it so many times recently.
Sure.
When he goes to the Cotton Club and he sees Oni and Frenchie. And he says, I'm in a rock and a hard place. And he's like, yeah, you are. Now, why is he in a rock and a hard place?
You're talking about Dixie, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because a lot of first, I think they know he's put in this position by Dutch to kind of be the Vincent Vega for Miss Mia.
The beard. Wallace. Yeah, the beard.
Yeah, he's the beard, and so there's that.
Mrs. Mia Wallace, as she says into the microphone.
Yes, I love it every single time. It's one of the great film moments. Yes. But I think that's part of it, and I think the other part of it is that he never really wanted to be this enforcer, whatever he is for Dutch at all. He simply wanted to advance his craft as a cornet player.
Yeah,
and he's put in this position where he now has to meet the needs of this ruthless, crazy gangster, and to do his bidding essentially. Mm-hmm. And all he wants to do is make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my interpretation of it. I don't know. Is that what?
Yeah. I agree. I think the original film didn't play out as long. Their scene where they finally get together, where he and Vera finally get together. That scene did not take like 8 minutes.
So that paid off wonderfully for my man.
It did, but it took like forever. They went to Banville, of course, where Dixie's at home.
Yeah.
With the brothers.
Yeah.
Right. So they went to Banville.
And when they initially met there.
Yeah, they initially met there anyway. Yeah. So, but then the whole scene where they finally get together and do all this, and then she has to leave and go home, and the thing with the eyeshadow, the eyes on her, she paints the eyes on her lids.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the original. So that whole thing was in the original. But I think that, so when I watch it now and he says I'm in a rock and a hard place, it's like, okay, is it because the word is out that you slept with Vera, or is it because this has gotten old? And I think the more I think about it, it's probably because it's gotten old. Because later in the last scene in the Cotton Club, he asks, Dutch asks Vera, where were you? She's like, I was back there kissing him. And she's like, well, did you ever sleep with him? She said, no, every chance I got, and I do it again. Right. Okay. All right. Right. So, but I think prior to that, he presumed. Yeah. Then he finally asked, like, even at her club, like her club opening, when he's there, and just seeing the closeness that they had, obviously belied something else.
Yeah.
There was something else there.
He was too batshit crazy to really care, I think. To care. And his wife was insane too. So, it was what it was. I kind of want to take a step back to the people you relate to. I have done the Abba Dabba a few times.
Oh yeah, we've all been Abba Dabba.
Yeah, I'm the wingman, and I will entertain the mistress. I take one for the team every now and again. That has happened. But yeah, man. I thought that it was, to me, I appreciated the subtleness of the whole dynamic there. Like it wasn't something that dominated the film for me. Like that love triangle, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It wasn't this constant threat of like, oh, he's gonna find out and he's gonna kill us, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no,
very often you see that in these kind of movies,
but it wasn't that.
That tension wasn't there, and I thought that made it a little bit more.
Like Gangs of New York when he.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
it. Cammy and Leo are in bed, and you see Daniel Lewis sitting there in the room.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the whole like knife scene, like, come on, I mean, that's how it could have gone. You know what I mean? And I think to Coppola's credit, it did not go that way, and I was glad for it. I mean, it's satisfying.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this. It's not quite one of our categories, but I want to know for you, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
Man. Okay. The historian in me, who loves sacred spaces. I love. So I'm gonna give you two. Okay.
Sorry. Okay. One of them's gonna be the one I was gonna say. So say it, please.
I loved them in Abyssinian.
Okay. Absolutely.
Because they were actually in Abyssinian.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And I've only been to Abyssinian once.
Shout out to my dad's friend, the great Calvin O'Butts.
There you go. And so I've only been to Abyssinian once, and I haven't been back there, but I know that is part of Abyssinian where they shot. And of course, if Coppola wants to shoot at Abyssinian, they're going to shoot at Abyssinian. And so I just loved it. So in the original, they're in Abyssinian for like 45 seconds.
Okay. Oh, wow.
in the Encore, he does a whole number there. Right, Lula May from Louisiana or something like that.
Yeah,
Adelaide, I think it was. But the point being, I loved them being in the original spaces where and the ladies are all lined up, all these beautiful. And I think back to Harlem, all these beautiful. I think back to Harlem Blues.
Yeah,
when he said Angels stroll seventh over that thing. I mean. From Madam Walker's Beauty Shop to Pro Row System 2, those girls are angels without any doubt. So you see that played out.
Yeah.
You see that played out in that scene.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Francis knew what he was doing. I think he just shoots beautiful things.
Sure.
But man, if you read, you read about this, Harlem Renaissance was the first class I signed up for at Howard University. Took it my freshman year, fall 93.
Nice.
And studying that time period. So we're literally we're studying the origins. We're studying slave, the slave trade and the origins and the Reconstruction, but we spent the most of the time on the quote unquote Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah.
And Abyssinian was very important. It was a cultural landmark, cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
As important as a Cotton Club.
Yeah.
As important as the Banville. As important as any number of other places. So I love that scene there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also, the last scene, the tap solo.
Yeah.
That was I love tap dancing.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely.
I went to see Gregory Hines tap with Sabian Glover when I was a kid.
Lucky.
I was 10, 11 years old at the Dallas Symphony Center.
Lucky.
And yes. And I had a great appreciation for tap after that. My brother took tap at a space called Valley Ranch, which was the original, which was the home of the Dallas, the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
From 1986 to about 2016.
Who was y'all's reporter? Ed Werder, right?
Ed Werder would be out there, yeah. But the local guys were Dale Hansen, this guy named Jerry Ower. He would always say, Jerry Ower, Valley Ranch. He would just say it like that. And Valley Ranch was really close to the house. But my brother had tap dance out there, taught by the cheerleaders.
Nice.
So because the cheerleaders had like a whole space.
Oh, you got to let me tell.
Built. It was built there. So
your story. I got a story.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say. So I love that tap solo.
Okay.
Interspliced with all the other things, and the reviewer rightfully on Ebert rightfully says, "Do you renounce Satan?" He's shooting Screechy and everybody, and Tataya and everybody else. So
yeah,
it's definitely an homage to one.
It is. That's true. And I remember when we talked in another conversation offline, I asked about the ending, and I see that now as that scene in The Godfather. So that's perfect. So before I go into my favorite scene, actually kind of a segue to it. So, Jordan took tap dance. Nina and Shay took dance classes at the great Spelman College.
Yeah, of course.
I was a young lad. My mom would take me to the West End Taco Bell to
God bless
satiate my hunger and my burgeoning ADHD, as it were. But it didn't last long. So my sisters were taking dance class in Reed Hall.
Yeah.
I was a young, probably 6-7 years old.
Got it.
And I couldn't help it, man. I had to go to the window and watch the young ladies doing dance in Reed Hall. And the teacher's name was Miss Bennett. I'll never forget Miss Bennett. I don't know how I missed her leaving the classroom. She left out. Next thing I know, a lady has me by my ear, pulling me away from the window at Reed Hall.
Was it just a huge window that I don't recall? I only went into Reed to watch basketball games and volleyball games. There
was some window that they had where they were having a class. I have
now they've
no
redone
idea.
it. Now it's like a whole new wellness center and they've redone the whole thing.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that happened. I was tugged away from the window, watching tap and jazz classes.
Of course.
I've always been kind of girl crazy. I enjoyed the young co-eds who enjoyed a young killer. young virgin, 6-year-old.
Nothing like it.
Yeah. But so anyway, my favorite scene was also a tap dance scene. It was the Hoofer scene. Like,
oh yeah. Woo! They made it longer in the encore. Much longer.
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, like you had Sandman Sims in that scene.
Yeah.
I want to feel like at least one, if not both, of the Nicholas brothers, who are the basis of the Williams brothers.
Yeah, come on. I hate that it took us to this point in it to say that. And I apologize.
No, hey, look.
I do. I mean that should have been the first. It's interesting. So they should be the Nicholas brothers, right? Then outside of the Cotton Club, there's kids doing stuff, and it's like another iteration of the Nicholas brothers is outside too. But
which kind of is the Hines brothers, because the Hines brothers basically are the proteges for the Nicholas brothers. Like and so like that scene was amazing to me, man. And like, I mean, there's just a history of Sugar. I had to look up Sugar in the middle of the film. I was like, I need to know who he is, because I feel like I should know. And he was the choreographer for so much that went on in that era, man. And like, my favorite Nicholas brothers thing is and this is an overall regret, and hopefully season 3 we'll get to this film, the 5 Heartbeats, man. Like, man, the little bit that Nicholas is in that, man, it's everything, right? It's everything, man. And
hold my cane, and you might open your ear, and you might learn something.
Hey, man, look, teaching Dresser how to dance, like
you want to come to? You should have talked to me. I met Dresser once, and I think it was Chris Lee's birthday party, or Faraji's. It was Chris Lee's birthday party in 2008.
Of course, it was Chris Lee's birthday party.
In 2008 in Washington D.C. And
the great Harry Lennox.
Yes, the great Harry J. Lennox was. We were at this little bar near Georgetown. You could call it in Foggy Bottom, in D.C. And we had the whole like this upstairs little spot.
Sure.
And I went to the bathroom and I look and I'm like, nigga, that's Harry J. Lennox. like taking a pic. And I'm like scrolling. It's Dresser. That's da-da-da-da. And then I'm on Get on the Bus.
Yeah. Of course.
Because there's a bathroom scene in Get on the Bus when the Righteous Brother he's super nervous around Harry J. Lennox's character in the bathroom. And so I look, I'm like, I say, hey man, what's happening? He's like, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And so I finish my thing. I wash my hands. I go out. I said, man, you know what? Harry J. Lennox is up in there. And Chris Lee is as you well know, like yourself, a national champion, a Chris Bowl national champion.
Yes.
And so he was like, oh gosh. So Faraji, he's thinking Matrix. Mm-hmm. And so everybody else is like, who? And then he bounces. I said, Dresser from the 5 Heartbeats. People are like, what? He bounds out of there. And then he like hangs out with us for a little while. He's like, hey guys, how you doing?
Awesome.
Because he walked in hurriedly, like he didn't want to be bothered. And then the door, it's like a little club. The door was so small, he could hear us. Yeah. We're at the top. The music is like 2 floors below. He could hear us.
That's what I love about DC, man.
Exactly. He hung out with us for a little while.
Yeah.
And had a drink, had some hors d'oeuvres, and went on his way. He said, I'm shooting a movie with Russell Crowe. State of Play.
Nice.
I'm shooting State of Play.
Nice.
Which I really enjoy. I enjoy that movie as well. Yeah, I enjoy that film as well. But yeah, Dresser. You do to me. This old drunk. Do your best move. Your best step. He does a thing.
Yeah, man.
He finishes it up. And then just like I thought.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Man, the Nicholas brothers, man. Incredible, man. It's so that Hoofer scene, man. Woo. I mean,
that's strong.
It's
history. It's history.
It's history. It's history. And that kind of scene is what I want in a movie like that, a period piece. I want to know, I want to see what that culture was like. You know what I mean? Gregory Hines come in, marry me. He's I already got a wife.
Right.
Man. All right. So
speaking of which, what you got this woman up in here for, man? Ain't no women in the Hoofers.
Ain't no women in the Hoofers Club.
It's the Hoofers Club. Ain't no women in the Hoofers Club. It's the Hoofers Club.
Man.
And she does her thing.
She does, man. Let's talk about Lynette. Yeah.
Jinx, let's talk about Lynette.
Man, phenomenal, man. I again, Having not seen it, I'm all about her in Jungle Fever, and that's the Lynette McKee. That was the Lynette McKee role. Drew was bad. She was a solid woman, woman. But to talk about
kicked him out and said, "My man is gone."
Well, you
baby,
yeah.
Trying to say my man is gone.
I see both sides of that, but
I do too. I do too.
But in this film,
yeah,
man, like her dynamic, her wanting to fulfill her dreams,
yeah,
to in that era, man, like passing, and like how
I didn't get it at first.
How strong of a person, and I think we look on that kind of in a pejorative sense now, but like really, that was in order to accomplish the things that she wanted to accomplish, that she felt like she needed to accomplish, that was what was necessary then.
Yeah,
and that being said, she still was able to hold on to like her realness. I guess that's the best way I can put it. Like, I had a lot of Phyllis Hyman vibes from her in this film, and especially her singing. Mm-hmm. Like, I closed my eyes at one point, and it was Phyllis Hyman in my like, and I said, "Well, hey, could Phyllis Hyman have played this part?" And absolutely hell no, because
no,
Lynette McKee has the chops.
Yeah,
like she is an actress, and I think one of the things that obviously probably was a crime of the initial release, because I'm sure she wasn't featured as much.
No, not nearly as much. No,
is that she puts on like a supporting actress worthy performance.
No, Lynette McKee did her thing.
Yeah,
let's for real. Diane Lane, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah.
Richard Gere, whatever. But
he's not Mayo. He's no Mayo in this film.
No, he's not. He's not Mayo. He's not Mayo in this film. But Greg Hines, and more importantly, Lynette McKee,
yes,
acting.
and
they really had an amazing range of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Extra scenes were added for the encore to show the depth of their relationship and the improbability of a future if she was going to be doing this.
Yeah.
But
she went all the way there.
She
went all the way there.
She did. So she was living, I guess, in some senses, as a white person. Though though Coppola never gave me my pound of flesh. I never saw my scene where she's living as a white person.
Sure.
But she's performing at the Cotton Club, so it's clear she's black.
Yeah.
She's performing for Vera, who calls her by a totally different name.
Yeah.
Than her name, which is a stage name. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But she wanted to do Broadway. White. He's like, oh, white. You want to do white stuff, white shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
However he said it. But they had there was real love there, and he got hit by the thunderbolt.
He did.
Miguel.
He had a face kind of Greek, not a little Greek, not quite Italian. Purple dress,
purple ribbon.
He got out of there. No girl like that.
This time does not exist. Yeah, so he got hit by the thunderbolt the moment he saw her, and which was a tough room back there too, brother. We said ain't hard to be in here. No, that was hard to be back there. Back there in that stage. Let's talk about, as we say. Well, keep going on Lynette. Then I'll.
No. I'm going with the Survivor Scrolls.
Yeah, I thought. I thought every time you say that, I love it. I thought she did an outstanding job.
Yeah, man.
And she has the chops, and she showed it. Yeah. And she was fearless. And she went after it. Yeah. And when she delivered the line, there's no mixed couples here. Oh, we're colored.
Yeah.
What color is she? He said, well, my mother is white and my father is black. Or was it the other way around? I can't remember as she said it.
I can't remember.
Yeah. So what color does that make me? He says, right. Right. Okay. 413. Going up to your room.
That was enough.
That was, I guess that was enough for him. But I thought she delivered that beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you could see shades of that in Devil in a Blue Dress as well. Yeah. Chop it. You can see the shades of that in that. Didn't you see it? She's something else, man. Right? You met her.
You met her.
Chop it.
Man.
Chop it. Yeah, but Coppola, whoever the casting director was, and I need to find out who that is. Shout out to them because they did an outstanding job casting. So this is gonna mess with you up. Jackie was not in the original.
That scene was like, oh my gosh, man! Like, whew, that was
the barbecue when she sings about, the lady sings about barbecue. Yeah, that's in the original.
That was
full song. But Jackie was not in the original.
Jackie was incredible.
She was, but she was not in the original.
Well, the Encore, right? People out there, don't. I feel comfortable.
I would not watch the original. Watch the if you're gonna watch the Encore.
The Encore is the definitive version. We have spoken. The Open Tabs podcast has spoken.
I had forgotten that she was in the Encore, and so last night when I watched it, I was like, oh yeah. I stopped when I was like, let me turn and pay attention to this right here, this musical number. They got pretty much every light-skinned actress they could find in Hollywood.
Yeah.
At the time, that could dance and sing.
Yeah.
Minus Jasmine Guy, because she was probably a little too young.
Little too young.
But barely too young. But they got a lot of them. Yeah. Because the Cotton Club they only had they had a serious color band there. And but so it was historical though when their sister, the Williams sister was going to be the first non-light skinned woman to dance at the Cotton Club. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so even and if you notice it at that iteration, she dances, and eventually Bumpy and his crew are allowed to patronize in a booth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not down.
Stay in their place.
Stay in their place. Not down on the floor. But they're in the booth next to Luciano.
Yeah.
Which if you watch the next film, they work something out to move out the Dutchman.
Absolutely.
But actually, they went to the Cotton Club. They went to the Cotton Club in Hoodlum.
Yeah, they did.
Yes,
they did.
Yes, they did.
They did.
You know what? Another character I loved was the brother, the maitre d, with the slick back hair.
Oh, was that that was
he was later, he was in a lot of things. But
okay, I'm thinking about Tom, because Tom Waits was in this briefly.
Tom Waits was like a stage manager.
He's a stage manager. Okay.
Yeah. But no, I'm talking about the brother who brought you to your seat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Who was he? That's gonna kill me. I need to know who he.
And he says something like, friend of mine. He's like, I count myself so lucky. The way he would diss them and smile at them in their faces, it was hilarious.
It
was hilarious. Definitely, it was like on some House Negro, but I hate everybody here. That type of
right.
vibe.
Right. I'm here so I won't get fined.
Yeah. So they did remove all the other cameos except for the Charlie Chaplin cameo, which you notice, Lynette McKee's character is with Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
And well, when she comes at that point, Black people can come see it. People. But they never discuss. So, okay, an issue I have, they never discuss how that goes.
Yeah.
How that happens.
Yeah.
They never discuss, Fiorello LaGuardia being like, no, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
You got to let people in the clubs. Okay. They don't discuss that. There are certain things that happen throughout the film that I'm like, how's there no retribution being meted out?
Yeah,
because Gregory Hines, Gregory Hines kicking the gun out and going outside, he didn't get shot on sight.
Yeah, that
kind of makes no sense.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. The maitre d, the great Tucker Smallwood, and my favorite role of his is in Black Dynamite as Congressman Monroe James.
Monroe James.
He was incredible in Black Dynamite. You seen Black Dynamite?
No, we've talked about this. I've not. Yeah, I'm not a Michael Jai White guy.
I wasn't before that either.
Yeah, not a Michael Jai White guy. We had a weird run in once in Midtown. It was a weird run in, and I was like, I'll never everything you do. I was like everything you do.
Well, thank goodness he was cut from Kill Bill.
Well, at that point, I would have been already into it. Then I wasn't going for him. It was Quentin.
Fair enough. Yeah, he was a restaurant owner in Curb Your Enthusiasm as well. He did.
I do recall that. Yeah, I do recall that.
Yeah. That's Tucker Smallwood, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about. I think this has an interesting societal impact. I think that on two folds. Number one, I think that it shows that Hollywood very typically is wrong about what will make money and what will not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it shows that those that have the balls to come back and remake something and do a right, karmic right, will get their just desserts. We'll get people to appreciate something that probably deserves some appreciation. So I think that, as a remake goes, I think that hopefully this will inspire Hollywood to leave him in the picture, as Robert Evans would say, leave the kid in the picture, leave the black folks.
The kid stays in the picture, but I think he was a driving force of cutting it the way it was cut, and wouldn't go fight the people at Paramount to leave it. I know you don't give Francis everything, but good gosh, give him something. Come on,
Francis has proven himself right more than he's proven himself wrong, and
absolutely.
But I mean, to the bigger point, I think that this film hopefully is an example of a strong example to critics and industry people alike that allowing a full vision of a director, especially somebody who has a track record, is something you should do. And not to the extent of like Michael Cimino in Heaven's Gate, but certainly. It's something that was reasonable, in my opinion, having the black characters and the black story told in this film. I think that the audience as a whole would have appreciated that. Even then, in 1984, I think it would have been okay. But I think we will see some other directors coming out with if not coming out with director's cuts, then being more forthright about what has been cut for these kind of reasons. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think about the very end? This is for your fantasy. What do you think about that?
I mean, it was weird. It was weird, but I have more insight into it now from our conversation tonight. And it makes more sense now. But on initial viewing and subsequent viewings without context, it was kind of, I thought it was wrapped up in kind of a tiny bow, like a, little too on the nose. It was just I didn't know what to think of it, to be honest with you, Joe.
There is a long form article about the craziness of the film that I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you. This is kind of nuts, and I've read parts of this thing before. It's very long. I think it was in and I'm getting to, and the reason I asked, I'm getting to it. What movie was it? Was it in Variety? Oh, New York Magazine. It was in New York Magazine.
Okay.
And and they were saying something about the ending and what it was like. I thought it was fantastical as well. But I thought it did wrap everything up nicely with probably some real life stuff with some other things as well. I didn't know if marriage was on the table though for these two. I didn't know if marriage was on the table for Sandman and Leela. But apparently it was. But then she says, because I thought she was passing. I mean, she's passing, so I don't know how they're supposed to do that. But this is for your fantasy. It means this ain't gonna happen probably. And to think that all the problems in the world go away because Dutch Schultz and his cronies die. They already said, Luciano says, we're gonna take over the rackets. We're gonna remove Dutch Schultz, and we're gonna, we'll take care of that.
Yeah.
So. But them going to Hollywood, I think was probably them going to Hollywood, whatever. Them going to Hollywood, I think it was probably farther, a closer, probably more realistic.
Sure.
Than anything else. He had to go back out there and shoot something else anyway.
Yeah.
And there was nothing back there for her. She had a club though that she left.
Yeah. But I mean,
which probably wasn't owned by her anyway.
Right? She probably could. She probably could have. She's replaceable.
Yeah, it's like the song "Allure." When that love's gone away, you learn that you are now actually there was a family and there was a wife, and you were just a girlfriend, and you have no claims to any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So that could have been another reason that they, said, okay, well, we're gonna head on. We didn't talk about Mad Dog Dwyer, and
yeah, we should talk about him.
Yeah, I did not like Nicolas Cage's performance. I know he was supposed to be probably a chromosome or two missing or short.
Yeah.
I didn't like his performance. I didn't like Jennifer Grey's performance at all. Until actually his last scene.
Yeah.
His last scene, when they had Frenchie in the room, and you saw how it was not glamorous at all. They just had a room somewhere.
Yeah.
And everything was being motivated by fear.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't like his character. I thought he was too buffoonish and too cartoonish.
Look, man, Nick Cage, as he is wont to do, was going for it.
Yeah.
He was going for it. And, I think that this is a movie where it was kind of out of the element. I think Dutch was going for it, or James Remar was going for it in a different way. But I think it was in keeping with his particular character. I thought that Mad Dog, it wasn't a very realistic portrayal to me. I think he was Nick Cage doing early Nick Cage things. He was doing he was practicing for my man Castor Pollux.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Nick Cage is very polarizing.
True.
And
true.
There's some nepotism there.
Oh, of course.
And I wasn't a big fan of that character. I thought it could have been. I thought more could have been. And honestly, every time I see Nick Cage doing something crazy, I think of another person who's related or in that Coppola world that could have done it better, which is Andy Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
but he didn't know Andy. He didn't know Andy Garcia at the time.
Sure, but Andy Garcia.
He didn't know until 3. Yeah.
Andy Garcia is a rich man's Nick Cage. Andy Garcia does everything that you want Nick Cage to do. Andy Garcia does and does it better.
I think he could have done an outstanding job as Gear's brother. Yeah, I think he really could have. Yeah, I agree.
Jennifer Grey,
somebody else's daughter again.
Somebody else's
daughter. Joel Grey, her dad is a famous actor, dancer, director, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, she peaked as Ferris Bueller's sister, Jeannie Bueller.
Yeah, probably so.
That's my, I put baby in the corner. She needed to be in the corner in this movie. Not impressed. Those two characters, not my favorites. Not my faves.
Yeah. So together, the two of them together is just like, oh gosh, this is rough. This is rough. But other than that, I liked all the other characters.
Yeah.
Other than that, so they were rough to watch on the screen.
Yeah.
On screen. They were rough to watch. So
yeah.
I forgot. I did have one other favorite scene, and then I had it in my head, and it just went away that fast. God. When he brings Frenchie back, when Frenchie comes back from being kidnapped, and he fumbles around with the watch, and he breaks the watch, and he says, $5,000. I gave you $50,000. I would have paid 10 times, whatever, to get you back. I love that scene because he breaks his watch, and then he says, $50,000. He's like, yeah. So he's like, then he gives him the watch from Tiffany's. Then he gives him a platinum watch. He gives him the watch from Tiffany's after he broke it. Probably knowing that he did it, but he wanted to wait for sure.
Yeah.
To know. But I love that scene where he broke his watch.
Yeah.
I think that the Ebert portrayal is a little odd, saying that they were the best love romance romantic couple in the thing. I don't think that they were a couple, but everything I've read about Oni Madden, I didn't see any of that in that. I haven't read anything about Frenchie, but everything I've read about Oni Madden, I don't.
It's a bit of a stretch. I think that when homoeroticism is there, you can put it there.
It's not in this. It's not in this film at all.
Yeah,
it's not in this film at all. Which is
I don't see it that way at all. I see it as two like best friends, partners, partners in crime, like that kind of deal. So I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Because one of the other articles I was reading, because kind of alluding to that too, and it's just like, no, I didn't see that. But certainly people are entitled to films the way they want to film.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Joe, where does this film rank for you?
Well,
in what senses?
So the Encore, I can't call it a gangster film. It's got its own genre. It's not. I don't think it's a gangster movie, and so I wouldn't rank it among the gangster movies. I don't know quite where to put it though.
Okay.
But I'll put it this way. Those things that are taboo when you're a kid, and there's those movies or TV shows or things that are taboo when you're a kid, and then you're able to watch it because you're an adult. This was one of those films for me.
Okay.
And because this is one of those films for me, it's very special to me. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So to that end, I'll always have, it'll always have a special place in my heart. Okay. And, I think I would rank it. I don't know. I don't know. It's one of the top 50 movies that I like to watch. Definitely about the Roaring 20s.
Sure.
Shoot, one of the top 10 movies I like to watch about the Roaring 20s.
Sure.
And both Gatsbys are on that list.
Sure.
Both the 71 and the 2013 Gatsby are on that list. And I enjoy it, and I think it's but I don't know any other lists for it because I don't know where it should live in that regard.
It's kind of weird in that regard. I think I think of it in the larger sense as a period piece. I think that for me, in terms of let me try to think. So in terms of Richard Gere movies,
that's fine.
It's not in my top 5 Richard Gere performances, but it's one of the better movies featuring Richard Gere.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
A lot.
I think that in terms of like actual dance performances and the true craft of dance, and it's not quite a musical, and I think sometimes it gets thrown into that musical category.
Yeah, but it's not quite. No,
I don't think it's more of a dance movie, which is different than a musical to me. Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, House Party is kind of a dance movie instead of a musical.
Now they call School Days a musical. That's how it's been built. You can look at School Days music. I mean, musical.
I mean, it has an actual musical number in the
several
good hair. Yeah. So I to that end, I would agree. This is, as far as dance movies are concerned, and movies that have an appreciation for, like, we talk about like Tap and I'm blanking on it.
White Nights.
White Nights. Yes. With a lot of them featuring the great Gregory Hines, which we should, before we go any further, we should just say Gregory Hines, man. Wow, man.
There's nothing better than love. There's nothing better than love.
Thank you, Joe. Because I was going, man, like that. Why didn't he do more songs? That duet.
He sang in this though too.
He's talented.
When the highbrow meets the lowbrow, and they're walking on old Broadway.
That's what made me think. He that's my favorite song.
Me too. The other day I was editing pictures. I think I listened to Nothing Better Than Love like on my Spotify or no, it's title. I listened to it like 20 times in a row.
Can I give you a quick Luther anecdote? I know I'm going off the rails real quick, but I just read a tweet in doing my research. I ran across this tweet from Richard Marx. It just popped up on my timeline. Popped up on my Instagram timeline anyway, where it says Luther Vandross had me over to his new house he just designed in Connecticut. The living room walls were cashmere, cash fucking mirror. So naturally, I lift my hand to touch it, and he screams, "Richard Marx, don't you dare put your nasty hands on my cashmere walls." Apparently, this really happened. So Luther Vandross, gone before his time. Gregory Hines, gone before his time, but his performance is outstanding. So Gregory Hines films, this jumps up there. This is right there with Running Scared.
There you go.
Running Scared, quintessential. That was one of those you talk about.
Yeah.
Taboo movies you couldn't watch. Like, it was on Cinemax, and if my grandma and granddad caught me watching Running Scared, I was in trouble. But Billy Hines and Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, man, and the great what is it?
Dan Sweet Freedom.
Sweet Freedom.
God, sweet freedom, shine a light. That's why you get the video, and you have the stars in the video.
Yes, they don't do that anymore. Yes, no. But yeah, man. So Gregory Hines films, as far as remakes are concerned of a film, this also
definitely
right up there.
Definitely top 3, top 5, whatever, all time.
Yeah,
anybody's remake. Yes, definitely.
And I gave Ridley Scott some shit for the Blade Runner remakes that he's done, but I think he has one called like the Final Cut or something like that. That is the one I own on Blu-ray, and that is a phenomenal director's cut. And Ridley Scott he's done that, and he did Kingdom of Heaven, which is an underrated movie, but his director's cut really is incredible. So I say that to say that it's as far as remakes are concerned, it's right there with the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2.
Come on with it.
Richard Donner cut.
Richard Donner cut. That's the second week in a row, or the second time this week, I think, that we've said Richard Donner cut. Superman 2.
It's classic. If you haven't seen it, man, you need. Hey, look.
Yeah, you got to do it.
You gotta see General Zod, man, in all his glory.
Oh God,
no,
Zod.
Why do you say this to me when you know that I'll kill you for it? I use it. Shout out to Christopher Larkins, my man from Queens, New York. I hit Chris Larkins with that at least twice a year. So,
well, it's funny. I was going to say in Superman, the movie. So apparently this past week, there was a section of Highway 1 that there was a landslide, and it broke apart. So they're going to have to build a bridge. Highway 1 is shut off. Yeah. Highway 1 in California. If you've never driven Highway 1, God bless.
Was Margot Kidder caught?
No, but so I when I read it, I said to my brother, Otisburg. It's a little place, Mr. Luthor. Yeah. Otisburg. Well, Mr. Tessmacher had a place. You had a place.
Tessmacher, Hackensack, New Jersey.
Yeah. He's like, Otisburg. And he gets down there and he wipes it. Ned Beatty, just brilliant. Ned Beatty wipes off Otisburg, which is
so like underrated, man.
Like a 6-year-old, right? Yeah. Yes. But I thought about that with the land. California.
I'm sorry if anybody's lives were lost. I don't mean to, but
no lives were lost.
Okay, well, I feel better.
Yeah, no lives were lost. Yeah. So it's a little place. It's a little place. Wouldn't even let Otis have his own spot. Golly, you want to have the whole thing?
Lex Luthor, man.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yes, sir.
We know where we're going next.
We do. So this is my study week. So I'm gonna get it tonight. I've never seen it all the way through.
It's a polarizing film. Yeah, I was just on a thread on Facebook. I'm a part of a Black entertainment group.
I think you added me to that group. I'm
sure I did.
Yeah, one of the guys he said something like, "Have you seen this thing on Netflix, the Clarence Avon?" I'm like, well, how late are you?
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
But they had one of those one gotta go. I hate those one gotta.
Yeah, go. I saw it. I saw it today. That's when I saw
so much slander for our next pick.
It was my vote. But I hadn't seen it.
But you have, and so many. I can't tell you how many people in that thread were like, "Well, I haven't seen it, but Baby Boy, that's where we're going."
No, I've seen most of it. Now I think about it, I just had never watched it like fully. Like I've stopped, washed dishes, done something else, but I'm gonna watch it all. I'm gonna get it right now, and I'm gonna watch it all the way through.
So the world needs to know. We got a guest.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Next,
you want a surprise or no? It's not be a surprise. No, it's not be a surprise.
Shouts out to my man Maurice Hendricks of Shirley Shirts. He's coming, man.
I can't wait.
Look, and the love that I have for this film, I got a story about my first time seeing it. I got a nickname for the young lady that I went to go see it with. I'm a debut, and I hope she listens because I got a new nickname for you, and it's very fitting.
Well, I can't wait. No, because we're going Baby Boy. Singleton's fourth film. Fourth film.
No, fourth film. Because he did.
Yeah, so it's Higher Learning. Yeah, Higher Learning was. Boys and Men, Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, Higher Learning than Baby
Boy. And there's so much story there. My medical school career, Dr. Tasha McCauley, now Dr. Tasha Lewis, my cousin Radiance. I had a huge showing of this film. There's so much love for Jodie and Yvette and my the MILF herself, Adrienne Joy. I found her on Instagram.
Oh yeah. I mean, it'd be cool if we can get her. But we can't pay her. So
Adrienne Joy. Please listen to my podcast, Adrienne Joy. Hey, we're going to Baby Boy. We're taking it back to LA.
LA. It's like the third, fourth time we're going.
Hey, my list. LA heavy.
LA Be My Lady, which was written by Quincy Jones and sung by Francis Albert Sinatra.
The great Francis Albert.
Yeah, but so LA is your muse. LA is definitely.
I'm a Randy Newman. You know, I love LA, man.
I love this.
We love it. Look at that bum down on his knees.
We love it. I love LA. I was driving through town once, going to one part of town to Malibu, Redondo Beach, Redondo Beach to Malibu.
I've done that drive with OJ.
El Segundo.
Shout out to OJ Smith.
Yeah, shout out to OJ Smith. It was El Segundo. Redondo Beach, El Segundo, same thing.
Okay.
Going up to Malibu, and I was playing it and playing Randy Newman. He said, "Big nasty redhead on my side." We were born to ride. When he says we were born to ride, it's like, man, you gotta have the top down. The wind's got to be blowing.
Yeah.
This is like the coolest. So whenever I hear it, I love it. But I used to listen to that song. I play that song in my head because I hate broccoli. So growing up, although this has nothing to do with anything.
No, it's
growing
up,
it'll come around. I would sing, we love it in my head when I would chew broccoli so that I would not throw up.
Yeah.
Eventually, I would just take the broccoli and when my mother would go in the part of the house, I would take the broccoli. We had a courtyard in the middle of our house. It was like 30 by 80 courtyard in the middle of the house. And I would go outside and put the broccoli in one of the beds under the shrubs and do it that way.
I wish I had known your techniques when my grandmother was embarrassing me in front of my cousins and making me eat spinach, because I would have definitely changed.
Spinach wasn't much better, but at least Popeye ate it. So it was but it wasn't much better for me. But yeah.
I learned that it was the way that she cooked it. So I love Grandma Ernestine, Grandma Ubu. Shout out to
Grandma Ubu. Yeah, shout out to Grandma Ubu.
No, that was Grandma Sweetie Pie. I'm sorry, Grandma Ubu was Grandma Smith. That's Grandma Sweetie Pie.
Grandma Sweetie Pie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
actually, I saw your grandfather's name today on something I was doing.
Benny
on some work. Yeah, Benny on some work I was doing.
Yeah.
Hobart.
The great Dr. Hobart Cornegay. Mississippi's own. Yes. A hometown boy went back, and a hometown boy makes good. And has a street named after him. So,
hey, it's a beautiful thing.
That's about as good as it gets, man. Joe, I think it's time for us to close this open tab, brother.
Absolutely, brother. Let's close that tab. Just hit the X bar. Hit the X bar.
We've enjoyed you guys. Until next time, like us, subscribe us, rate us, review us.
All them things.
Do all those things. Spotify.
Rain, fire, all that type of thing. Yes.
YouTube, whatever form of media, we taking over it.
Yeah. Air, land, and sea.
We here. And
one city at a time.
And if it's long, watch it in parts. Watch it in bits. Save it. We love y'all. Bye.
Peace.